And welcome to video 4. Just wrapped up video 3, so we should be all on the same page, but just to be sure, we've covered everything up to veterinary care. And we click, and this is where we end up. So let's go back to the back end and deal with veterinary care. Okay, so we're looking at this, and again, this is our header. It might look a little different because we have some more content in here, but it's exactly the same. So again, scroll down to Divi Builder, pull with header, click these three little lines, and we have how to keep your pet living longer, which is the heading here. And then the only difference here is we have subheading text, which is where all of that content is coming in, right? Which I don't, my computer's saying that is not spelled right, which I think it is, actually. So yeah, it's just subheading text, so we have header, subheading, but it's all within the same row, right? Close out of here, so it's all within the same row. We're good to go. Now, again, we have all these different options, but we should be very familiar and able to handle all of these now, but let's just review really quickly. So we're going to scroll down, we have some text, and we have all these images, right? All these clickable images. We have our sidebar. We've gone over our sidebar, so full header, we're good, sidebar, we're good. We have this intro text, so three little lines. And here it all is, in the same editor format. We should be able to just type in here, make some changes, and be good to go, right? So close that. That is this area here. So we have the text. But to make it a little easier for you, when it says intro text, that should be good. So we have these 8 things here. So we have 3, 6, 7, 8. Let's mess with surgery and anesthesia. It's the first one. So we have surgery and anesthesia. Fantastic. Click these 3 little lines. We have a title. Now, the only thing weird here is you see how this says that? We have the ampersand sign, and then we have AMP, and then a semicolon. That is actually a little bit of code, because if we only put the ampersand sign, it's not going to recognize it. And if it does recognize it, when you save it, it's going to come back as this. It's just because the ampersand sign is not widely, and other characters too, it's not just this one, are not widely acknowledged throughout the internet, so sometimes you have to put a little code, but just for the ease of understanding, we could just put the ampersand sign, and then we'll come back and see what it does to it. But for here, we have an image, we have this header text here, and then we have some content. So we have our title, surgery anesthesia, boom, we understand how that works. Then we have the URL. This is where we want it to go, right? So it's linkable and it's going to somewhere. So it's going to go to the surgical anesthesia services page. Makes sense. And then we have this image here, right? Which is obviously this one. So we know how this works. Upload, either select it from your computer, choose it from the media library, your choice. You would select it, you click save as image. We're not going to mess with it, right? Otherwise, we're not really messing with all of these. We do have this content here, which we're comfortable with how this works, but that's this content here. Okay. The only thing that I would be concerned with here is that you don't really make it any longer than this, because if you do, it's going to continue trailing down here, which is going to push this lower row farther down, and then you're not going to have any content here. It's just going to look weird. Honestly, it's just an aesthetics thing, but I wouldn't make it much longer than that. So for here, again, title, URL, image, scroll down, content. Those are the things in these modules that you want to mess with. And again, I'm going to close out here and change anything. All of these act exactly the same way. So you're good to go. We didn't change anything, so we're not going to update. But from veterinary care, we're going to go to pause at home care. So we're going to go back to the pages area. And we go to... We're going to come, oh, I see. Okay, so some of these, we should have done that first. Go back to veterinary care, sorry about that. These are linkable, which we talked about, because we talked about the URL. And they all have their individual pages, right? So the way it works on here, again, we told you this mimics the menu, but this is not off of the menu, but this is just for you to understand where to find these pages. It just makes it easier for you. So we're going to click on the surgical and anesthesia services page, which is this one, right? So pretty easy. We have header, we have sidebar, and we have a main content area. Scroll down to the Divi area. We have our full width header, which you know how to do. We have our sidebar, we know how to do. We have a content and image. 3 little lines, image, content. I mean, we know how to do all this. We're good to go. We didn't change anything, so we're not updating, right? So we're going to go back to pages, and we understand at this point, sorry, clicking around, that all of these pages, so if I click in here, this radiology and ultrasound page, these work exactly the same. The thing about here is we have a video, super easy. So we're going to go to radiology and ultrasound, click on that. Go down to the Divi Builder area, and we have video. Self-explanatory, 3 little lines. The only thing that you have to do is, so this video is actually uploaded into here. So uploaded video acts exactly the same way as the images do. The cool thing is the media library knows which ones are videos. So that's cool. You can select which one you want. Or if you have a new video, upload it. It'll show up. You're good to go. But the only thing here that you want to mess with is this first one here, okay? Say you wanted to link a video that was to YouTube, you could also put that YouTube link in here, and it would do the same thing, okay? So we're going to close out of here. Other than that, we know how it all works. We didn't change anything, so we're not going to update it. We're going to go back to pages, and let's just cruise through the veterinary to make sure that nothing here is any different. So the EKG page, we have a header, we have a sidebar, we have main content, just text and image, we're good there. The microchipping page, same thing, we have header, sidebar, we have video, we know how that works, and we have content, we know how that works. Laboratory, sidebar, header, video, image, content, we're good. I'm just kind of reviewing these to make sure nothing's popping up here that you guys should know about. So dentistry, we have a header and sidebar and video, image, content. Oh, we have another video in here, but it's going to work exactly the same way, okay? Stream, we're going to go down to pharmacy. In pharmacy, we have the header, we have sidebar, and we have main content. Simple. Is my pet too fat? As a matter of fact, yes, my cat is too fat. But that is beside the point. So we have a header here, and we have sidebar, and we have main content. We'll talk about these. It acts exactly the same, but it might throw you off because it's informational, but it's just an image. So let's go into is my pet too fat? Go. And just go down to Divi Builder, full with header, sidebar, we're good. Main content here, we have 2 images. With Zoe and Hendrix, then we have a gallery. So content, we're comfortable with how this works. Change it in here, good to go. We have the body condition images. These are here, which really just are images. So click on these, image URL, upload an image. We know how this works. Upload a file, or take one from the media library, and both of these act exactly the same. I didn't mean to do that. So then we have Zoe. So we have this content here, which is just typed in. Again, we're familiar with this. Then we have the little gallery things, which we're familiar with on a bigger level, but this might throw you off. So again, we've seen this before. I think it was for the sprocket images, but we have the gallery, update gallery. There's 2 of them here. If you wanted to add, you could add images. Again, you select from media library, upload your files. But you're good to go. You're set to only be able to have 4 in here. So you can have up to 4 and you'll be good to go, okay? Same thing, Hendrix acts exactly the same way over here. We didn't change anything, so we're not updating. Alright, so now we're going to go pause at home care. Scroll down, pause at home care. And from here, alright, so we have our header, right? We know how to use this. This is the main thing, and this is the secondary header. We dealt with that again before. This is, just go down to the Divi area. So we have a slider, but I believe the slider only has 1 image in it, right? So to change that, again, three little lines. We only have 1. When there's only 1, you notice how we don't have those arrows or those little circles down here. It's fine, nobody will know that it's actually a slider module. But to change the image, you click these 3 little lines, go down here to a background image. Remember how we talked about that before? See how it's covering this entire area? It's a background image, whereas in, I think it was behind the scenes, it was the slide image. So down here, note the difference. Slide image was on behind the scenes, and this background image does the whole area. So this is set to the whole area. So if you change it, make sure it's in the background image area. But the difference here is we do have content. This content here, which is overlaying, right? So we scroll all the way down to content, and we're familiar with how this works. So you can change this, type whatever you want in there, save, and you're good to go. Close that, I didn't mess with it. So then we have our call to action, right? We got this button. We know how these work. So we click our through the lines, we have our title, pause our home care. Here's our title. And then we have the button URL of where we want it to go, right? And then we have the button text, request appointment. And then we have a content. So we come down and we have this content area here. We change this, same as we have everywhere else. Type whatever you need, erase whatever you need, and save and exit. Alright, I'm going to scroll down. Now this is a little different, just because it's set up a little different, but we have, this is set as an area, this is set as an area, and this is set as an area. Okay? So we have services offered. Yeah, that makes sense. I'm going to click the three little lines. Again, it's simple. We have this area here set up as a bulleted list. Should be familiar with how that works. Change whatever you need, add, delete, whatever. Close. This middle area. So we do have a title, right? Here. Oh, too much. Here. Now this is something that we haven't come across yet, right? So we have this image here. This little clock image. It's cool. But you see this use icon? We're choosing yes. So when we choose a yes here, we get to choose from all of these different icons. And the one that's blue is obviously the one that Tiffany had chosen to display here. But you could select any one of these, okay? The icon color is obviously going to be the same. The accent, same colors we've been using everywhere else, right? But then we come down and we have the content. So here's all the content, which is this content here, okay? Make any changes you need, save, good to go. So we have advantages and payments. We have advantages and payments. These are just text areas. Click through the lines, content area, there you go. Payments, through the lines, content area, save and exit, okay? So then the next, let's say we want to request an appointment. That's taking us to the request appointment page, okay? Now this is the first time we're seeing a form. We're going to cover forms. We're going to cover them all together at the end. But just so you know where they are, we have pages. And we're going down to at-home appointment request page, right? Scroll down to Divi Builder. We have our header, right? Here it is. Here it is. And then we have our form. And the way the form is actually this thing here with these brackets. It's actually called a shortcode. You don't really need to know that. But if it's calling a specific form from Gravity Forms. Again, we'll cover this later, but we can show you how to do that. But that's the only content here. So basically what I'm saying is to edit this form, you cannot edit it within this page. The only thing that you can edit within this page is the fact that the form is here in this request appointment. That's it. So we'll come back to forms, but we're going to move on for now. So we're going to go to pages. So surgical FAQs. Okay. Here, again, we have our header, we've got content, we've got an image, super easy. We've got a full width header. This is just kind of, for some reason, blocked off, so we have this, and this, I didn't mean to click that, and this image, and this in one row, and then the others in another row, which is how Tiffany set it up. So we do have that, close that, and then the questions are down below, just in a content area. So you can type new ones at the bottom, you can delete some, you can change them, whatever you want to do. But make sure you click save and exit and update. Okay, and we are getting close to 15 minutes. So this is the end of our 4th video. Get ready for the 5th.